Well, that's my favorite because that's how I came to faith. Through a couple that lived on Kauai. When I was 43 years old, I met them, and they were students of Ariel. They were a couple that had become believers as adults, and I think it was off of Radio Ministry with Vernon McGee. And then their next stage from Vernon McGee and searching out churches was they were introduced to Arnold Fruchtenbaum. And when I met them years later on their path, I was discipled pretty much with Ariel materials. They sponsored Arnold, so I met him from the get-go, even when I wasn't ready for Arnold Fruchtenbaum and his teaching. It was all quite new to me. Over the years, my involvement has grown, primarily for years and years. I've been a believer for a little over 20 years now, and my involvement at first was just to be discipled. I was discipled literally through Ariel materials and the Word. And I saw Arnold every other year. He would come to Hawaii on a circuit of teaching, and he came to our island every other year. And at one point, I think when I became more involved in the ministry, my spiritual mother got cancer, and they left the island after being there for over 30 years. And I began to have a heart to want to bring his teaching to our churches, because that's what they'd done. And my husband and I went on our first trip to Israel with him in 2004. I went back and shared with the church about that trip. That church asked me to organize another trip for Ariel in 2006. So I organized the trip, and even though it was right during the 3-day war, so not everybody, a lot of people dropped out, but Ariel booked it internationally, which was a treat anyway. So 4 of us from our church went, including the pastor. And then that church began to have Arnold come to teach. And then they started a Bible college, and Arnold started coming for 2-week stints to do longer teaching for the Bible college. Since then, I still have remained primarily a student because I love his teaching, but I listen to lots of other teaching as well. And since then, I've done 2 other trips with him to Israel. And I think when it really began to take off for me was when I began to teach his materials. And currently I co-teach a Bible study with another woman, and she went to seminary in Texas. And so she teaches from one perspective, and then we take turns, and I teach from a Jewish perspective, because it really opened up the Bible to me and filled a gap that I wasn't necessarily getting in church. Oh, I would say it's discipling. Discipling first and foremost, that getting that word out. It is the Bible from a Jewish perspective. I believe it goes to the Jew first and then the Gentile. I'm not Jewish. And then second, the emphasis on getting out there and using it. I love coming to camp because people here are generally using their ministry. And another way I was able to use the ministry is I began to do evangelistic work with World Mission Outreach. And they've been here for the past, well, this is their 5th year. And we use Arnold's material primarily. I've gone to 2 African nations with them. And Israel, we go back and we do evangelistic work under that umbrella. Camp Shoshana is just a wonderful place to be because it's international. You can't put there's no stigma of a particular kind of Christian that comes here, but they're all people that are hungry for deeper learning, and they're all people that have received it and then used it. So there's always a number of pastors. There's always a number of nations that are represented at camp. And for me, as now a grandma, there's a number of kids that come from these backgrounds that just opens up this rich opportunity for children as well to intermingle with these families and see the different ways that they can go out and grow up into ministry. One of the ways that's new to me in the past 2 years, I met the Hungarian couple that represents Ariel in Hungary, and she needed help with a book that she'd written of editing. And so she slowly translates, but her English isn't strong. And then she sends it to me, and I get to do editing work. And that was fun because I learned things I didn't know from her. And then Christiani just involved me, Jurek has just involved me in doing editing work for Ariel as well. So editing and just being a reader for the materials, I think there's a great need because it's a big task. Coming to camp, I know we helped to, our church helped to sponsor the African couple from Liberia, who I had met in a ministry to Liberia with Henry and Darlene Matarita of World Mission Outreach. And so they were interested in the materials because that's what World Mission takes to them. And so you can get your church to sponsor people of other nations, like Pastor Evergreen from China is a sponsored participant. That couple from Liberia, Africa, who would never have had the funds to come. So that's another way to get involved. And then just begin a Bible study in your own church. It's a wonderful way to spread the news and then get people interested in coming to camp. I think more than anything, getting to know Dr. Fruchtenbaum on a personal level as well as a teacher. It's, when I first met him, I was always a little bit intimidated because I just thought of him as a scholar. And getting to know, to remember to reach out to the people of Ariel that are working so much of their time volunteering, the hard work that they do, almost everyone that I've met, to really reach out to those people on a personal level and get to know them and get to see that heart behind all the work that they do. It would be an important one.
I want to invite you to take a look at our website, revelationstvseries.org. It's produced by Horizon Media Studios. It's a 501c3 media ministry, and what we're doing is helping other ministries tell their story. Homeless shelters and children's homes, Bible colleges, seminaries, mission sending agencies. With your help, we can continue to help tell their story to inspire the world, to shine their light and let God get the glory for the work that's being done in advancing the kingdom of Jesus Christ.